We out west with it, where we live illegal, leaning off a leader, riding regal, tipping scales like Libras. Inhale, no L's, pulling out blocks like Jenga. In the rear of a Caprice's Billy Rims, flicking decent nonetheless. Nothing less than tens for the speakers. You'll hear us before you see us with beats that beat the streets up. Yeah. So try and keep up and keep it low key, cuz police try and treat us and keep us on a leash, cuz that's how they see us, thinking we nuts. Cuz we'll die for the ground beneath us, because this land made us. This land made of players that stay on paper. That's how we came up amongst the mayhem to the day when we display what we made of. The game could never change us, the west side teaches. On these streets where you find that D before G. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just got up in a block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Smell the grind in the air, take a whiff. Only the nose knows the aroma. Compose the money rolls that fold up, holding cold cups. Searching for those that got the purple O's for the $4. And we could go nuts and stay at the stove like grocers, and post up with O's on the table like coasters. That's how the game coached us, made us all in the soldiers. Now that dough is the focus, so know that we own this. Molded by the hood role models, riding good, the latest model, drinking good, raising bottles like we just missed a pothole. You got to know that it's impossible to stop our flow. We've seen it all from watching cops reload 30s a dro while drinking the night away until the block got slow. You'll know as soon as you see us, we the ones laid back in the cut. My demeanor seems to always give me up. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just got up in a block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Yeah, home of the survivor, survival of the fittest in the town. It's wicked, you can J down in a minute. What am? What's the business? The biz is how you down and get it. From Cape Town to Fifth City, the sounds of Fifth's empty. When we tipsy, it's risky. Where the lick be, at least 10 deep. It tempts me, but there's no mystery. Where the chips be, the tips G. Just our history from the 60s. Pimping ain't easy, but we bleed it. This here game is in our veins, in the air we breathe in. Believe this, it's no game, but the key is your mouthpiece, spit your game. But believe, turn nothing into something. We suffer without supper long enough. Struggling from summer to summer, the same place where the dope is sold. It's home to the Oprah show, the same place I know is home. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just got up in a block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into
city.
As I take a sip of this fifth that makes me shiver, you could probably sail a ship on this river full of liquor. We stay afloat where hope drowns in addictions, a potent mixture. This is the picture that depicts us. We live it up, giving what we were given, gave our all, refused to give in or give up, willing to risk it all. Gee, we lived on a tip drunk, dug deep in the trenches. Shit, we knew what the risk was. But of course, again, it's the same story when shots fired in the alley hit shorty valedictorian. Where's the support for him, the less fortunate? Another life lost, another day in court again. 20 years for the defendant for any sort of grin. Ward of the state, he was raised in the orphanage. To where it all began, the source of it. Empty cupboards, floorboards, no money for the store again. That's all he knows.
Just where I come from, all of what I've learned, most of what I've done, I owe it all to the people that I love. I hope you're proud of me wherever I
It's all political. What you tripping for? The richest ones get riches from the rituals. On the tip with hypes, tippy toe. For a fix a blow, getting dough. Running every type of give and go. No Philip drumming in these different strokes. While we come up on these risky roads. Pray for a pot to piss in for the kitchen stove. Criminal capers just to get us on. Bagging up the same order that gets us gone. Thinking maybe one day we may hit that goal. Until then I'm outside until I flip this soul. Grabbing fagels from the sick go on Cicero. I see a visual of them people frisking, bro. Stretched out by a shorty with the grimace on. Sometimes it ain't even the money, it's the principle. Can tell you why we die, but what are we living for?
This is my city, just where I come from. All of what I have learned, most of what I've done, I owe it all to the people that I love. I hope you're proud of me wherever I go. I'm from.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what a cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Great afternoon to you wonderful people. Welcome to this Friday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from inside the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Herb Howard. Each and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. we get together right here with you all and we discuss issues that are currently impacting the black community, how those issues impact us as individuals, but also how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through many of these issues in hopes of finding the optimum solutions for how we can overcome said issues. Again, we want to overcome them as individuals, but perhaps in our estimation, more importantly, we want to overcome them as a collective. Thank you all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. As always, your input is valued. It is certainly appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible while we go through the show. We would kindly request you, please take a quick second to share the broadcast, share it on your personal page, share it even within your personal network with absolutely anyone that you think would add value to this conversation or find value in this conversation. For it is our sincere belief that the more like-minded individuals we can get to be a part of this conversation, the better the opportunity we have of reaching those aforementioned solutions. So please, 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 if you would be so kind, take a quick second to share the broadcast. Again, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest, Ron. On a Relationship Friday, no less, we are joined by the one and only Miss Juliet Scott. Jules, how are you?
I am excellent and happy to hang out with you guys again.
I understood you, bro. I fixed it. Okay. Okay. Have it then, sir. What you say, Jules?
I'm excellent and happy to be back with you guys.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with us. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys and all that you do.
Well, we do what we can, you know. Let's not set the expectations too high, okay? Satisfaction is directly linked to expectations. You set the expectation too high, real tough to satisfy, okay? So let's just keep it right here.
Okay, I'll keep it in that middle point.
Yeah. Two. I don't know if y'all can see it, but Two got a fresh like pimple or something. He's 13 years old in here today. How are you, sir?
Outrageous. It is. It's getting outrageous around here. I think it's because of my new diet. You know what I mean?
It's getting all the toxins out.
Yeah, it's getting outrageous though. It is like I'm 13 around here, but you know, it is what it is.
That's good. No, that it literally means it's just getting all the toxins and stuff out. Your skin is clearing up, getting the poison out your body, man.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that.
Look at God.
Look at Mythical Sky Daddy doing what he do. How you feeling today, man?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored, family. Got a long day ahead of me still. Just starting. Woke up at 5 with my son because he's doing his new workout regimen with the new school.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here. Got a meeting on the west side. Got games at 8. It just don't stop.
West side.
You know what I mean? That's
what's up, man. Hey, no rest for the weary, they say. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, they say.
I don't want the crown. I want to sleep. That's all I want.
That's what's up, man. Well, I'm sure you will manage it as always. Happy birthday to Dawn Millhouse.
Absolutely.
It is her birthday today. Happy birthday, Dawn. Hope you are enjoying yourself. Got in here a little early so I can see Dawn and wish her a happy birthday. And that was super, super cool. Always good to see her. Hopefully she's enjoying herself this afternoon and into this evening. She's been celebrating for like a week anyhow. She's probably going to celebrate for like another month. So, you know.
Isn't that the way to do it, though?
It's the only way to do it.
All right.
That is the only way to
My
do it.
turn coming up. It's a little ways off, but
When your birthday?
August
What?
8th.
And yours is when? The 7th, 9th? When your birthday?
August 5th.
That's what I said.
That's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Leo gang, you know what I mean?
Heard
That's
you.
right.
I see y'all out here. Aries gang.
Yeah.
It's always Aries season, man. No matter what nobody tell you, it's Aries season. No matter what the calendar say, it's Aries season.
You know what's crazy though? Like, you know, I was just gonna say that's some black shit. Both of y'all talking about my birthday is the whole month. Mm-hmm. I ain't never gave a damn about a birthday. It ain't never meant nothing to me.
Well, I do.
I don't get it. You know.
Well, in all fairness, I think that's a Leo thing. I've never really celebrated like that, but as I get older, it's like stuff going on and people die and I'm
That's
here,
true.
so I'm gonna celebrate.
People do die. For sure.
I was like gonna have a 45th birthday party type of deal, but
gonna
then
be
I
50?
figured that would be worthless because you know I'm married and it wouldn't be no purpose.
Shout out to Gino, man.
Could not.
I'm just saying it really wouldn't be.
Shout out to the guy, Gino McIntosh, man, one half of the Bigs. Hope y'all had the chance to hop on the soil today. They went through a wrestling draft, like all-time greatest wrestlers.
I heard them.
Yeah, pretty
I
good.
heard 'em.
Was you ever? No, of course not.
No.
It's gonna ask you, were you ever a fan of wrestling? You've never been a fan of anything.
No, I'm a fan of a lot of stuff. I just wasn't wrestling.
Like what? Tell me two things you're a fan
but
of.
here, I'm gonna give you the game though. But
Okay.
being my father's child, right? As a kid, me and my sister used to watch Rocky. Rocky was a big deal back then. One day we jumping on the bed
Adrian!
screaming, "Rocky is the champion of the world." My daddy came in with the greatest attitude you could fucking have, and he said, "Let me tell you two little niggas something. Ain't no white man ever gonna beat no nigga at nothing."
Give it a buck.
Don't you ever celebrate no white man in my house. No, he was serious though.
I know.
Right, but boxing was like a big thing in our family. Like football was a big thing in our family. You know?
Yeah.
It was only recently that I stopped paying attention to all that shit
Yeah.
because I just got too much going on, and just kind of the climate. I really was with like, man, fuck all that.
Yeah.
But growing up, like football was a tradition, boxing was a tradition, and you know, I'm a fan of sports. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, the climate of recent has
Yeah.
me like, man, whatever.
Yeah, it ain't that important.
Yeah.
No, I dig that. I like boxing too, man. But I definitely was into wrestling for I don't know exactly how long or exactly when I stopped. I venture to say I probably stopped around probably like 14. I think when I got to high school, like it was like different. Like, oh, yeah, I'd rather do something else on Thursday night or Monday night than watch Raw or SmackDown. I would
See, when I was short, it was Sunday.
rather go
I-
Raw
you
and
know, I was
smack
just
something
about
else
to say
down.
It was Sunday. It was channel 66. I don't understand where this Wednesday, Thursday
Yeah,
thing came
it was
from.
Sunday.
It was Sunday, channel 66 or
Yeah.
62.
I would
something
watch
like
Samurai Sunday, and then once wrestling came on, I was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
Get outta here.
Yeah, you know.
that. You didn't like Hulk Hogan?
Oh no. Again, my father's like, we ain't celebrating the white people over
That's
here, homie.
fair, that's
You know what I mean? Get out of here with that one.
Adrian said that's
But
how
you
I get
know-
people to remember my name, Rocky's wife. Adrian got his ass beat. What was you about to say?
But the bad guy was Junkyard Dog, and he was like the only black guy.
The
that
only
was-
brother.
Right. So that
He got to be the bad guy.
And wrestling is racist.
And there you go.
I mean, they sell it as racism. You know what I mean? So, you know, being in my daddy's house, that wasn't
That
getting
wasn't
no
gonna
burn.
fly.
This ain't getting no burn to here, homie. Read a book. Get out of here with this shit.
That wasn't gonna fly. Yeah, I was heavy into it for a while, man. Stone Cold Steve. To this day, if I hear that glass break for his intro, I might lose it. Like like it's that glass used to break. You knew he was coming out. Psh, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Lose it every time. Every time. I didn't even like The Rock because they was like rivals or whatever. So even today, when they was doing their countdown, I heard them talking about who they was about to pick for number one on the break. I came here on their break, like, whatever. Just close the door because they had picked The Rock.
All of them picked Rock as number one?
I heard Terrence talking about picking the Rock on the break, and I didn't even wait till they came back on the air. I just came in here like, man, y'all tripping. Stone Cold was better, but
The Rock probably is number one when you think about it in this context.
And Terrence broke it down perfectly, and I was like, you're right. He's one of the greatest entertainers
he's an
ever.
entertainer, you know what I mean? That's why he was able to take it so far.
Yeah, his story's crazy. I mean, he played on those University of Miami teams
true.
that were good. I'm talking about Warren Sapp, Ray Lewis, like Hall of Famers on that defense. Yeah, like Ray Lewis behind you, Warren Sapp next to you, and you starting on that D. You can go, fam. Yeah. He could ball for real. So yeah, and then he's parlayed that into a very lucrative acting career.
Warren Sapp was on Shannon Sharp's podcast talking about The Rock.
Yeah,
and he was like, man, he really was a bum. But saying he's a bum on the University of Miami field is like, no,
yeah,
not.
I'm nice everywhere else.
I fully get it, right?
Yeah.
But he was like, I always knew he'd be somebody though. His work ethic was crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
Still is.
I get it. Yeah,
dude, like 60, looking like.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's swole.
Yeah, he's not playing no games.
Nah, that's real. Steroids are real too, but it's still whatever it is, it's working.
Whatever works, man.
But work ethic will always change the game. You know, you
That's
can be
true.
average, and that work ethic, if you got it, put you on top.
I used to believe that. I don't know. Let me say this. I think it's true in most instances.
Yes.
Right? I got to take this out. This is bothering me.
I was liking the grill. Y'all see
I like the
two
grill
got his
too,
grill
but
in?
it struggles to talk a lot.
Yeah, I feel that.
You got a one word answer.
Yeah.
Yo.
It's definitely some cool stuff. It ain't said and talk for 3 hours.
Yeah, you can't keep talking right. It's slob build up. It's dick. It's like cool. You know what I'm saying? But
Just sucking on your teeth all show.
you know what I mean? Sound like a dolphin around here. You know what I mean? But no, I used to believe that work ethic could get you anywhere you want to get to. You know what I mean? And back to that astrological science stuff. Like one of the constructs of the Leo is that we really have a philosophy of no pain, no gain. So we willing to do whatever's necessary to get to where we want to get to. You know what I mean? But when you start really understand, and I'm only putting this in the perspective of wealth, i.e. success, i.e. reaching that mountaintop. When you start to really understanding wealth, man, don't nobody earn that shit.
Either you born with it,
You know what I mean?
or you ain't really
Don't
gonna get
nobody
to
earn
it.
that shit, man.
You
You got a cosigner, like somebody that's gonna.
It's always
sponsor your
somebody
ride.
there pulling you to the side, like, come on up. It's never, I got there on my own.
But what's so interesting is if you look back, how intertwined black and white money is. Even the wealthiest of black people, if you go far back, like Lindenstorth and all of them, all their money is tied to white people. And of course, all white people's wealth is tied to black people, whether
for
it's
sure.
through slavery or something else. So it's just interesting.
Yeah, but it's, it sucks ass. I don't believe that hard work shit, though.
Yeah, I believe that if you're talking about people who are starting from the same place, right? If you're starting from the same place,
You can work your way up to the middle.
I'm not saying wherever. I'm just
Hey,
if you can start in
eat
the
out
middle,
the trash,
if you start in the middle or whatever,
make a
like
decision.
if we start in the same place and with a similar skill set, then I think work ethic matters. But if one person is starting here and the other person starting here, this person can work their ass off, and you ain't catching this motherfucker, and they don't really have to do nothing. It just is what if you start the game at the Baltic Avenue or the little purple joint, and I started on Park Place, fam, you can do whatever you want. I'm gonna be over here chilling, okay? Like, get around here if you can. Pass jail, pass taxes, pass all that, and see if you can make it. Plus, you started in the hood anyway, and that's already a challenge.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, I don't want any trouble when I ask this question.
Here comes trouble.
Right. But how does that play into the LeBron James and Michael Jordan conversation? So both have natural talent, but I think what we found out is Jordan's work ethic and drive really changed the game and how he showed up in that sport.
I think it's tough to discredit LeBron James's work ethic. I won't say that. There's something internal.
Yeah, it's an attitude difference.
Yeah, like he gets up and goes to the gym. The man been in the league for 20 years. He still looks great. He's physically this year he's missed a significant amount of time, but other than that, he hasn't missed a lot of time throughout his whole career. So I can't say he doesn't work hard.
Right.
But something was on the inside of Mike and inside of Kobe that is not on the inside of LeBron.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Not that he doesn't have it, but the level of which he's committed to that drive and going past that breaking point.
Nah, I think he's willing on that piece. Like if you're talking about like the preparation and the work, right? Like how does he get in the gym and put in the work? I think LeBron absolutely gets in the gym and puts in the work. I think he watches the film. I think he does all of that. I just think when push comes to shove,
not a killer.
He's not a killer.
Got it.
Like Jordan and Kobe were assassins. I will rip your throat out on this court. And LeBron's like, I could probably beat you, but if it comes down to it, you can have it.
That's what I'm talking about. That breaking point, like hitting that level.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call that work ethic. That's something else.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm working through that piece myself. I'm trying to.
Howard Trout makes a good point. He says work ethic only applies to athletics. I'd almost agree with that. Right? You work hard, you got more. One, and I don't even want to say it only applies to athletics. Let me say this. There are certain fields in which black people are going to get carte blanche. Right? The hair, we talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
We ain't going to let too many people do mess in our hair.
Right. Babies.
Right. Soul food. And football and basketball.
And they coming for soul food.
Yeah, they coming for soul food.
You know
right? And football and basketball. So in that vein, the playing field looks more level, right? But even in that vein, when you really do the research, most professional athletes don't come from the bottom. They come from like middle to upper class families.
Yeah.
Because of the investment that it takes to be that kind of good.
Yeah, like they just had the NFL draft. You watch all 7 rounds of that draft. When there is a unique story to tell, they tell it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he came from this, and they struggled here, and he moved to there, and this and that. Most of them.
Yeah, that he from the bottom story.
His daddy was in the league. Or his daddy played college ball, and his auntie and his mama played. Like,
he comes from some upper echelon. For black people, he's probably at the top of the food chain already.
Yeah, it takes a different type of thing to get to that level. Like, a lot of cats is nice. And me and Gino was having this conversation probably a couple weeks ago outside the studio, just about what it takes to actually get to that level. And it's well beyond natural talent, right? Like, nice as Gino was at baseball, he could have went whatever. But if it takes a certain kind of structure, you know what I'm saying?
Structure
like,
and early
investment,
like
you know what I'm saying?
All that.
Versus
my son been playing
13.
organized basketball since he's 3 years old.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But you gotta have a structure and a father specifically that's invested in that.
Telling Herb the story the other day, man. I got a kid on my son's AU team right now who's from the area I grew up in. And his drive is impeccable. Like, I love the little kid. I got affinity for him because he's from my neighborhood.
Right.
But he coming from some different kind of stuff at home.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I said to her the other day, I said, it's terrible because no matter what he do, he not going to outshine the people who got that support system.
Right.
And it's just the reality. You know what I
And
mean?
people that's been investing since he was 3.
Yeah. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? You behind the curve already.
No, it takes that kind of investment. It takes somebody, being committed to you. It takes somebody that's going to buy you bats and cleats and, go to batting practices and buy you like that. It's a huge investment. And just having somebody who's walked that road before understands it, right? And then having a father is critically important too. Like, it's a different type of thing, right? When you talk about what that looks like versus only having a mother in your life, right? Phenomenal as they are and everything, like there's a different thing when you talk about making it to be a professional athlete and having a father as a male, as a young boy growing up. That it's just a different thing. So most of the cats you see, they come from that kind of stuff. Some of them don't, but most of them do. So I agree with y'all too. I agree with you and Howard on that too. Anyhow,
in that vein, I know you wanted to get some of them videos. Since this has had a conversation started,
yeah,
I want us to watch that one video I sent you first. I'll find the marker when we go on break, and then we can get into the other stuff you want to talk about.
All right, cool.
I think that transitions right into that conversation.
Let me pull up your computer. I'm trying to. I'm over here trying to do something else.
One thing you just mentioned, Herb, was as great as single moms are, just having that dad there, it's only so much one parent can do. Like, can I go to work all day, take care of the household, and still get you to that game or get you to that practice that's on the other side of the city? Like, all of that.
It's so much extra stuff. I used to tell my players all the time, like, bro, like you got to be doing extra, right?
Yeah.
You like, coach, I come to practice every day, bro. Every kid that's your age that plays football is at practice right now. When you at practice, every kid in this country is at practice. Right. Y'all all at practice from 3 to 6, okay? Everybody in the country. What are you doing to separate yourself from the kids that's like trying to go to Alabama and LSU and like Jackson State? Like,
I think that 2-parent household matters just because it's a balance and it gives more opportunity to push that weight onto somebody else.
Right.
But then at some levels, I'm like, no, it don't matter, right? Because it just takes a certain kind of commitment and investment and understanding of value, and that's just not normal, right? I come from a 2-parent household. I think my father even seen me play 1 game in my life, maybe 2. You know what I mean? At best, he just didn't have time to. He was holding his house up, and my mom was like, "I don't give a shit." It just wasn't happening like that. But even just with my son, and I always had this conversation with her, but because I understand the commitment it takes and because I understand the value and also because I understand he's an asshole. And I mean that in the most loving sense possible, right? There's so many other avenues that he just hasn't clicked for him yet where he says, this is where I'm going to make an investment. And he's so good at the sport, I got to keep him focused in the sport just because it'll keep the road moving. You know what I mean? And it's more about, it's not like, hey, you going to the league. That's not even a goal. If you get there, great. But I want you to be able to have opportunity. And because you're such a jerk in so many other areas, you'll close doors to opportunity. Where this comes, I don't even want to say naturally, but you commit to this. You know what I mean? So it'll keep certain doors open. So my commitment is about keeping doors open to his future. I can say that, but I could say that to my wife, and it wouldn't register. Because it's like, nah, just do what you're supposed to do in the goddamn classroom. Right. And I get that too. Yeah. But as I also understand how boys are, how personalities work, and you know, I ain't never been a dummy, but I ain't never got good grades in my life. You know what I mean? It was always something else keeping me motivated to stay engaged in even school. Yeah, you know what I mean?
That was me too, but I think that when you talk about that dynamic of the two parents, right? My mother never missed any of my football games, right? And to the best of her ability, she never missed any of my brother's basketball games until he started playing all around the world and shit. But my mother was like, she was our biggest fan. You know what I'm saying? So after the game, I threw 3 touchdowns, great. I threw 3 interceptions, great. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're my biggest fan, where their father tends to be like your biggest motivator.
Yeah, I didn't even see them 3 touchdowns. Let's talk about the 3 interceptions.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Ass. Hey, get out here and let's work on this. You know what I'm saying? What you do? Like it's that. My mom was like, shh. Yeah, baby. Like,
but that's not good either.
Hey, you threw a perfect spiral to the defense.
Purposely work on that, right? Like, we at a point now where I don't even talk about the games no more. I'd be like, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, because
it'll be all negative. It ruins our relationship.
Yeah, it could be extreme. My cousin Eric, who probably here sometimes, he's like that. My nephew is a really good basketball player right now, and he just started playing football too. He's a freshman in high school, but my cousin is so. I'd be like, bro.
It get bad, man.
You're making it not fun for me. I know he ain't having a good time. Like he be so hard on him, but at the same time, he's always there motivating me, giving him everything he needs to go do it. But you know, there's a balance for sure, and I think that having both parents kind of naturally creates that balance of, hey, support, cheerleader, but also, hey, let's go. You know
so
what I mean?
When he was playing football, though, my wife did come to a lot of the football events. She was worse than me at football.
Yeah?
She was worse than me.
About getting on him or about him getting hurt?
Worse. Getting on him. Ain't nobody cared about you getting hurt. Get up. Get up. But she was worse than me. I'd be like, hey, man, chill, fam. Relax.
That's what's up.
You know, and maybe it's me, right?
She like football.
I think there's an expectation for your lady to be a nurturer, so you can work that balance. When I can say, hey, you ain't shit, she's supposed to double back and say, well, no, baby, you okay.
But in football, both of y'all are.
You like, no, you ain't shit.
Definitely ain't shit.
Can't do it like
you ain't shit.
This ain't how it's supposed to work.
My mom was the other way. I remember. This at like Gately, bro, stadium on 103rd and Cottage. We like Gately, and I don't know. I get hit. It hurt a little bit. It took me a little bit longer to get off the ground than it would normally take me to get up. Before my trainer gets to the field, guess who's in the middle of the field?
Yo mama.
Middle of the field, fam.
Hey,
okay?
mamas.
There's bleachers to come down. There's a fence. To get around, there's like people. She's on the field, fam. Like I look up and it's her. I'm like,
baby, man.
What are you doing out here, fam? Like go. Like, you okay? I'm fine. Like you.
On average, I be
don't
like,
get me talked about.
Ass up. But then when it's something real though, that parent instinct, like, hey man, hold on, that's my baby out there still.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she was different. She was different. But anyway, you got a video you want to play? You said.
Let's take this break first so I can find it and just key it up.
Cool. That works out very, very well. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll play that video and we'll hop into the conversation for today. It is a Relationship Friday, and I want to talk about sex in the workplace.
Oh, okay.
Yay or nay, Ron? We'll be right back.
WIIFTBP. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
didn't catch the last page in the Book of Dawn? Here's what you missed. So you found that, but you also, during those times, made a conscious decision to create a base for yourself outside of the Isleys or the great artists that you tour with. And from that, the Mo Fitz Project was born. Can you tell us how and why you did the Mo Fitz Project?
Let me tell you something. I had been touring since I was 17. And what happened was Eve, your girl Eve, was doing different events around town. And I remember it was right on 47th Street.
Yeah, I think it was Blue 47. Or
yeah, one of those spots. So Eve was doing something with them. So they were like, we're hiring bands. I was like, I'm going to put something together and go play, play locally. Let me do that. And through that situation from Eve, the Mo Fitz Project was birthed. I was like, oh, okay, this would be great to actually come home and put quality guys together and make music locally outside of the touring. I just found another joy in it. And crazy, remember Terrence Kane came up with the Mo Fitz.
Oh, did he? Kane?
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Terrence was like, you need to call it the Mo Fitz, Reese E. Mo Fitz. Use your name. This is how that name came about. It was Terrence Kane and my girl Each Bridgeworth. She was the launching pad for that. And then she would hire me to do different events. And she started hiring me to do weddings and stuff she was doing. And then it just kind of birthed into that.
Don't forget to tune in weekdays, 9 a.m. to the Book of Dawn from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. Roll Tide, y'all.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the green side of things. It's your man, Sadiq.
And Cassiopeia.
And we need you to like,
comment,
and share
that thing
every Tuesday and Thursday from 1
to 3 p.m. on
What's in It for the Black People Media.
This is Tori Muhammad, and we want you to tune in to the Tori Muhammad Show that airs here on What's in It for the Black People Media every Monday and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We talk and celebrate Black-owned businesses, Black entrepreneurs, and we talk to some of the best people in the food industry here in Chicago, Black chefs, Black restaurateurs. So make sure that you tune in to us every Monday and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Day. Oh, check it out. See, while you was on the corner trying to scrape up pack money, I was driving 80 stack trucks off rap money. I'm back money. If you want it, come to the hundreds and ask for me. Meet them OGs that are blast for me. I'm right here. Ill Adidas, $400 jeans on me. Itchy with no safety, a loaded magazine on me. Southside, that's as wild as it gets. And no, I never sold crack. That's some house nigga shit. I'm not judging, but every man that's a man gotta stand by his principles, and I'm not budging. That's Mickey. You can take it how you want, but you can never be me. You can fake it how you want. I spit that uncut raw. You can bake it how you want. Break it down any way you like. You get the same result. Get in tune. The elephant in the room has now assumed pole position. Whoa. Oh. BJ, get him. Come on.
Reporting live from the gutter where that butter get gorillas jobs. That's why we call it work. The same work will get a nigga robbed. I throw my dice against the concrete. If the bitches pass, see you later. Grab my paper, tell her they kiss my ass. This the jungle, baby, I'm a lion. Try me, I'll be firing. The same banger, same Private Ryan. You the prey, you survive and hide. Better pray that them vultures and them rovers don't go flying by them. Them other niggas just so-so. How Linda birth a nigga this hot in the cold go? I went from 20-inch assassins on that Osmo to the pretty 760 sitting low on them bozos. Those are big shoes, you motherfuckers is so slow. Get caught without your heat in these streets is a no-no. Baby need Pampers, daddy need that photo. It's bread or nothing, big old niggas, you see the logo.
Welcome back, family. We are live from inside the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Juliet Scott and Toussaint Werner. My name is Herb Howard in the production studio doing all of the hard work. Is the one and only LaRon Rilla. Ron, what's happening, bro?
What's the word, my boys? How y'all feeling? How you doing,
Straight
Juliet?
on the perm.
Nice to see you again.
Good morning. Hey, did everybody see the gift that Ron purchased Auntie Don for
My
her
TT.
birthday?
TT.
Tell everybody what you got her.
What you get TT for her birthday?
Pandora, rose gold Pandora bracelet.
Rose gold Pandora bracelet for TT for her
Ron
birthday.
getting money out here, man. He spent that ticket.
Okay.
If he did that for Auntie Don, I wonder what he did for Behind the Green Door.
Behind the green door, got the bracelet.
She probably got every pair of Jordans. She don't
charms.
want a bracelet. She from
Yeah, she don't
Florida.
know about that.
She don't want that.
She threw that back.
She got a whole bunch of fifths and some Jordans.
She didn't even get that far. She wasn't patient.
Girl, he bought fifths. He didn't even come with a pint. Girl.
She wasn't patient enough.
She wasn't patient. Bags galore. All the weeds you want.
Almost.
Almost got me to trick it.
Gotta be quicker than that. That is funny. That's dope, man. That's a really, really cool gift. I happen to know it's a down payment. And I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, I know too.
Yeah, I know.
As soon as I saw it, I said, look at this little
Look at this down payment.
Look at this little dirty nigga.
Look at this down payment. Okay?
Little dirty nigga.
Speaking of down payments,
Crickets.
Book of Dawn was dope today, huh, Ron?
Super dope.
Yeah.
Super dope. Had Bay on the other day.
Oh, who we had on there?
What?
Bay.
Bay?
Oh, Bay.
That's Bay.
That's Bay.
Yeah, I can call her that.
You call her Bay?
Yeah.
Okay, nephew.
Heard you. Okay?
Hey, stake your claim, little bro.
That's energy right there, my G. I like it. Keep it. Ooh, I can dig it, man. Well,
there it is.
I won't be as petty as I was gonna be about something else, but
Right.
Right. Stop while you're ahead. I know it's killing you, but stop while you're ahead. Let's play this video, actually.
Shall we do that? Shall we do that?
Thing he said was, it's time for me to go. And she said, it's time for you to go? What's wrong? Why is it time for you to go?
Time for those
And he
eyelashes
said,
to go.
because I'm about to get on his ass. Just like that. He said, I'm about to get on his ass. A 10-year-old tells his mama, I'm about to get on his ass. And so I'm like, what's going on? That you gotta get on his ass. Okay? So my son comes out the back and I asked him, what are you guys fighting about? And long story short, it started from them checking and it wound up going left. Now, the purpose of this live and the purpose of me feeling some type of way isn't because of them fighting. That doesn't bother me, two young boys fighting, because that's normal. That's going to happen when you got two young boys fighting, because they'll fight each other and then they'll play the game with each other or be back friends, in the next 5 or 10 minutes. What bothered me was my son wasn't as aggressive as her son. Does that make sense? What I'm saying is the only difference in between these two little black boys, the only difference is her son goes with his daddy faithfully every other fucking weekend. Every other weekend, her son goes with his dad. Okay? She said he even gets him sometime during the week. Okay? I'm sorry, y'all. I personally know his daddy. So I know what type of daddy he got. He got a daddy that'll get on your ass, too. You know what I'm saying? So basically what I'm saying is, he about to get on his ass because his daddy has showed him and taught him for motherfucker fucking with you or some shit about to pop off, get on their ass. Whereas to my son, father does not exist at all. Okay? You talking about a boy who had the last time he seen his daddy was about 4 years ago. And when he saw him that one time, that was his first time seeing him in like 2 or 3 years. So you're talking about a boy that has a dad and has seen him, he can count on his hands how many times he's seen him versus another young man who spends a lot of time with his dad. The point I'm making is, you calling me right now. The point I'm making is, we as women, when these niggas ain't shit, we feel like fuck that nigga. Fuck that nigga, he ain't shit. I can do it on my own. I don't need him. But what that really taught me firsthand today is women really can't raise a man to be a man. And the reason, and I've heard this before, I've always heard it, and I've always denied it. You see what I'm saying? I've always denied. Fuck this shit. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. I know how to teach my nigga how to be, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, really in reality, I spoiled the shit out of that young man. People even say that that's my pick, that's my favorite. You spoil him, you give him whatever he want. And I really see that I'm really fucking him up, because when they was telling the story about what happened, her son said that he had punched my son in the jaw, right? So he punches my son in the jaw, and I'm like, okay, so what happened after that?
All right.
So he was saying something about, well, he tried to put me in a headlock, and I'm like, the fuck? The fuck? You trying to put him in a fucking headlock? You mean to tell me he just put? Okay, so my son come in, he like, no. He tried to punch me, and he missed. He swung and he missed, and he hit the bed. If a bitch swing at me, whether that shit land or not, I'm finna A-paw motherfucking ass. So you mean to tell me that this young man has swung on your ass and he ain't go cuckoo for Cocoa Puff, cuckoo. You ain't do shit. You just ran this motherfucker wrestling like WWE or some shit. That's making me look at my parenting, because I'm fearful of when my kids go outside, especially when they go and play with other kids. You know what I'm saying? Because that's normal for me to go out there and play with other kids and get into a brawl. That was my biggest fear when I was a younger parent. I used to always, when I lived in projects and shit, I'm scared to let mine go outside, because I don't know, these motherfuckers out here, they already walking to the store by themselves in Pampers and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even finna let mine go to the mailbox.
That gets to the gist of the conversation.
Walking to the store by yourself in Pampers. But yeah, man, what was so telling about that video that you wanted to hop into?
I really want to know what y'all think. I think it's telling on many levels, but I want to know what y'all think first.
All right, cool. Jules, do you agree
with
the sister's assessment that she's come to the realization that women can't raise boys into men?
Well,
not that. I was also, really for me, it was like her why, her reasoning why, or how she got to this understanding of how she saw her impact or her influence on her child in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of things showed up for me there. I think that men are important in raising children, especially, but I think men are just as important as raising a man as it is raising a woman. Like, you all play a big part. It doesn't make a difference which gender the child is. Mm-hmm. A woman being able to identify with her true queen self is because dad said certain things or pushed certain things. So mm-hmm. both parts are necessary, and when they're not in the same household, it has to come from community. But the other piece to that, I caught her when she said that if the brother ain't nothing, right, then skip him. Well, you can't say the brother ain't nothing because you all's relationship didn't work out. And that's one of the challenges that we have in community, because then that strife shows up and you don't want to raise that kid together. So that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. We have to figure out how to manage that in relation to her not appreciating her son not being aggressive. Last week's conversation, the conversation came up around alphas and betas. Everybody can't be an alpha, so her son just might have a different
temperament naturally.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's where I'm at with that piece so far.
Yeah, I feel the piece on, people having, their own natural demeanor. But I think that I also believe a lot in nurture too, right? So I believe in nature, but I also believe a lot in nurture. And I think that if you take somebody whose natural temperament is kind of docile or relaxed or timid, if you will, but you put them in an environment where they're forced to behave otherwise, then that's who they'll become too, right? And I think that you can absolutely kind of take some of that masculine energy or some of that, natural response away from a child by, constant cuddling and constant, coddling is not cuddling, coddling, right? Them. And I think that she saw it in that moment, right? Here go this shorty, punch your shorty in the face. And your shorty, like, let me try to put him in the head like, I mean, I'm not saying that all boys need to be hyper aggressive, right? But most of them are. Like most of them, especially in our environments, in our communities, most of the boys tend to be hyper aggressive, either for that's who they actually are, or as a defense mechanism. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to fight, so let me just act like I want to fight all the time, and hopefully don't nobody want to actually fight me, right?
Right.
So you see a little bit of all that, but it's tough because I mean, what you supposed to do? Because all she's really doing is loving her son, right, and spoiling them or whatever. Cool, but what is she supposed to do if the father ain't there? What is she? Because if she's super tough on him, if she one of the moms that's berating them in public, we're gonna judge her for that too. But if she's coddling them, we're gonna say, well, that probably ain't the right thing to do either. So it's a catch-22 for real. I don't know exactly what it is that she's supposed to do in this situation. I think that it's important to find outlets. If you are a single mother raising boys, I think it's important to find other outlets where they can get some of those types of things, right? So for everything that my mother was able to give to me, there were things that she couldn't, just because she's a woman, right? And I'm training to be a man. And she ain't never been one of those. And so she can do the best she can at that and, raise me to what she believes a good man to be, right? But I think that for me, it was important to get football or basketball or, even my guys, you know what I'm saying? Like because we taught each other a lot too, right? Now, some of it, what we was teaching each other was the wrong shit. But we were teaching each other at the same time as we were kind of growing. None of us had, fathers in our lives. So we kind of just teaching each other as we grow. And so I think that your circle of friends matters. I think that, getting into some extracurricular activities, specifically sports for young boys, matters. And then you can kind of supplement, some of what they're missing by not having an active father in their life to where they can still grow up to be productive, men, right, that are not timid, that are not to be pushed over. You know what I mean? So I think there are ways to supplement it, but I think it's a very, very difficult situation that the sister finds herself in. I think she puts herself in an even more difficult situation when she puts on those eyelashes. That's disgusting.
So it's another portion of this video too. I just didn't feel like waiting that long. Mm-hmm. But she gets into how she grew up in a 2-parent household. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And she has a certain level of respect for her father. And then she would attract certain kind of men who didn't show up in the capacity of her father. And she was like, and once you didn't meet the standard of my father, you out of there. You know what I mean? And now she's coming to this realization that this boy isn't the kind of man that she wants to see per se. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But then I thought about this in the context of my own child and my own experience in my own life. And because of the environment he's in, like, I struggle with him being aggressive. Mm-hmm. Like, my real communicator is, hey, man, walk the fuck away. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Walk the fuck away. Now, if you ain't got no option, fight, fight or flight.
Right.
Get the fuck up out of there or
right.
fight till you can get up out of there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's mainly based on the environment. Mm-hmm. But I also think that there's something to be said about the innate nature and warrior spirit of man. And I don't think it's built via men. I think it's built via women.
I was wondering if that was what you were about to say.
I think it's built via women. early on the Maze show, they was talking about Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day weekend, Mother's Day coming up, and they was like, "What'd you get from your mom? And what'd you get from your?" Like, "Oh, I look like my mama. Oh, I got my mama's nose." You know, that kind of stuff was happening. And I thought about that, man. And me and my mama had a very difficult relationship all of my life. You know what I mean? But I'd be a flat out lie to say that I didn't get my audacity from my mama. I didn't get my aggression from my mama. You know what I mean? That's Andrea Werner working through me. You know what I mean? And just being black and male in this society, and I think from the perspective of living it, whether it be nature or nurture, I don't know the answer to that one. But because of the very nature of the conditioning, I think black men are more empathetic to the black male experience.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we navigate it differently. You know what I mean? Even in conversations with my father. Now, he ain't raising no punk. You know, I've told stories on here too about niggas jumping on me. He stood there and watched. What you gonna do? You know what I mean? Because you gonna have to learn how to deal. You know what I mean? But he also wasn't like carrying the banner of go whoop XYZ's ass. Yeah. Be prepared if that's what it gotta be. Yeah. But try your best to not make that what it got to be. Right. Because the outcomes are usually detrimental for us. Right. And it shows in how it shows in Walmart when you see a woman taking some shit back and there's a complication with it and she goes absolutely ape shit crazy. You never gonna see it's gonna be rare. Maybe not rare today.
Okay.
Maybe not as rare as today as it was in my day. But it'd be rare to see a dude acting outrageous. It gets to a point where dude's like, I just gotta eat this shit. I guess I bought this. You know what I mean? Because I don't think we hyper aggressive like you said in our communities. I think we hyper emotional. And I think it resonates as aggression, but it ain't aggression at all. It's emotion, right? And I think that back to Beach's point of that man and women, that feminine and that masculine energy is the first representation of God. I think that shit is so out of balance that we got different expectations of what's supposed to emerge out of that. You know what I mean? I heard one day, it was a documentary, I think I told you about this years ago, but it was a documentary, I think it was out of Philly. Young boys, young street boys talking on camera. They like, everybody know. They was talking about them, how many of y'all got fathers? Nobody had a father type of deal. And then one of the boys in the comment, on camera was like, everybody know, niggas with daddies is soft. And that fucked me up.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like, and mind you, this might have been 20 years ago when I saw this damn documentary. That still stays with me today. I was like, damn, that's different. Like, I never thought you would hear some shit like that. But it resonated to me in the same way it resonates right now. Most daddies is gonna tell your ass, man, what's the smartest way out of that situation?
Right.
Whereas most women is gonna say, man, fuck him up, cause it's emotional. Your daddy gonna be like, can you make it out of there? What's the options? You know what I mean? What's plan A, B, C, and D? You know what I mean? Not saying be no punk, but what's plan A, B, C, and D? Just like the Walmart taking some shit back. I'm just gonna pop off though. And in most instances, you get that leisure and that freedom because how many consequences is coming to you? How many people gonna punch you in your mouth? That ain't really, socially, that's not an acceptable thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Socially, it's an expectation for a man to get punched in the mouth. So if you gonna put yourself on front and center to get punched in your mouth, you better figure out if that's what you really want to do. It just was interesting to me. I ain't saying right or wrong one way or the other. I just think it's very interesting though.
Yeah, I think that is a very interesting dynamic that I never really thought about it, but I do know that, I think a lot of times in our communities, we kind of carry certain shit as a badge of honor that we really shouldn't carry as a badge of honor. And so we kind of flip that dynamic on its head to where, sure, it's a great thing if your father's in your household. But because a lot of our experiences, that wasn't the case, we just flip it to whether that's a coping mechanism to make ourselves feel better or whatever. We just flip it. And so it's like, boy, your daddy live with you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? We just kind of flip, like you soft as hell, boy, your daddy live with you. So you do have that kind of stuff like going on, like, man, both of your parents at home. You know what I'm saying? How we could take such a positive thing and flip it like that, I don't know why we do that, but that is absolutely true. So that makes sense to me.
As you were speaking, I found myself wondering about the balance that is present when there are two parents. versus when there's not. So I'm wondering if it's more about maybe the balance that there are two parents and there is a tendency maybe to go even keel versus the fight that you're in when you're in a single family household. Like you have to manage, you have to figure out X, Y, and Z. You have to struggle. You have to, like, all that is always there. That pressure is always there to push through whatever, including circumstances, versus with two parents in the household, we'll figure it out. We'll work it out. I want you safe. You know, like the fight is different, completely different.
Talking about prepare. Go ahead.
I struggle there too, though. And even back to the football thing with my wife and my son. Like when I tell him, man, you ain't shit, it comes from a certain place. But when she says it, it sounds like it's just filled with vitriol. And I be like, ooh, shut the fuck up.
It
Don't
pierces,
say that.
it pierces
It's
a
different.
boy's soul to hear his
just
mother
different.
say that.
Outside of what it does to him, even with how it comes out from her, she ain't talking to me. And I'm like, whoa,
But
goddamn.
You understand the dynamic the same way, though, is what I'm saying.
It even sounds different. You know what I mean?
But I'm saying,
and maybe that is right. Maybe
I'm
you're
saying
right.
to you because we understand it a different way. Like if you walking down like a school hallway, right, and you see a mother got them pulled her son out of class, and she berating them in the hallway, going off. You know what I'm saying? Poking them in the chest, that kind of shit. You're like, damn, she OC as hell. If you see a father doing the same thing, you like, that's good. He done came up here and got that boy in order. You know what I'm saying? Like it's if we for whatever reason, it meets the eye differently and the ear. It's like, yo, she's wilding on him right now.
So I find myself wondering about the spirituality attached to it. Like with women, our spirituality shows up different. And I'm wondering if it registers in space differently. I don't know that men are as tuned with their spiritual self as women as often. And so when we say something a certain way, it's not just the words, but it's coming from the belly, and that's what you feel when it shows up.
Piercing your spirit. It really is.
It's different.
Yeah. I also think that, you know, when in talking about in terms of, you know, not having a father, an active father in your life, and we talk often about, you know, preparing people for the environment that they inherited, right? And so if you don't have a father here, right, I got to prepare you for this world quick. Like you got to get ready for this, right? Ain't no father for you to come home and run to and tell this about. Like you got to get prepared to deal with this thing. Like you got to, like, it is what it is, versus when there is a father, it's like, I can delay my responsibility to deal with this thing, right? We're developing, we're training a man for this household, right? Versus we already got a man in this household. You just be a boy and grow up and whatever, right? I think the necessity kind of creates a bit of a different response to how we kind of go about dealing with that thing.
Maybe so. But I also had a sibling, which was a girl. All your siblings was boys, right? So in that, you get to what you start to recognize early on is that, like we say, being prepared for the environment in which you inherit. Her environment ain't my environment.
Truth.
Even though our bedrooms is next to each other and we in the same, your environment is not my environment. The world does not respond to you like it responds to me, and vice versa.
That's true.
You know what I mean? The things that you're going to have to be concerned about, not necessarily things that I'm going to have to be concerned about.
True.
The things that I'm going to have to be concerned about are not necessarily things that you're going to have to be concerned about. Going back to the mother raising of the boy, or even a single father raising of a girl or whatever, out of balance, right? If your job is to prepare me for the environment I'm going to inherit, and you've never experienced the environment I've inherited,
How you gonna prepare me for
how
it?
you going to prepare me for it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just interesting. That's all I'm saying. And I'm thinking over time, right? Well, we know, you know, the statistics are the statistics, right? I think it's like 70 to 80% of black children are born out of wedlock. And I think that's also a skewed kind of stat.
Sure.
Because there's also statistics that say black fathers are some of the most involved
sure.
fathers. You know what I mean? And when you start looking at the environment and from its reality, they probably have to be. Because most of the women are probably the earners. So they doing all the babysitting from the mathematical standpoint. But I also think the balance is off in general. You know what I mean? And again, it's all a reflection of slavery, and it's all a reflection of the oppression that we've dealt with. But over time, you start to adapt to whatever those new behaviors are. So that out of balance becomes normal, right? And now you see this emergence of this effeminate man, right? I.e. the shooter, That's an effeminate behavior. That's not a masculine behavior. That's an effeminate behavior.
False feminine.
Maybe. But even back to, we were just laughing earlier and talking about astrological signs and lions and Leos or whatever. When you start looking at the very nature of that tribe or that pride, is the woman that's the predator.
That's what I was going to mention.
And Adrian mentioned something about the dark side. And when I was referring to spirituality, I wasn't talking about the nurturing side. I was just talking about in general, which includes, that killer instinct. Like it shows up and it's real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's just interesting. Even just looking at a lion pride, right? Now the daddy really ain't too much gonna fuck with the daddy.
Right.
But he also ain't gonna fuck with too much.
No, I'm over here chilling, fam.
I'm chilling most of the time.
Okay.
Until you really fuck with me, I'm not gonna bother nobody.
I didn't ran off whatever nigga was the greatest threat over here. I didn't beat his ass, ran him off. This our area. Then my women, then my shorties. I'm sleep over here under this tree. Y'all go get dinner, fam. Let me know if I need to come out there and help y'all, right? And that's kind of how those lion prides move. Like, man, I swear to God, if y'all wake me up, I'm killing somebody. Literally. Okay, like if y'all wake me up,
you got to really push me to this.
Yeah, if I gotta get up, somebody's dying.
Somebody's in trouble.
Like, okay,
it's just interesting. That's all.
Yeah, no, it's that's real. That's real.
But it's funny how even when that energy shows up, there'll be a certain regard for the mom. Like everything else out here, I got, but I don't want to mess with her.
I don't want this problem with her.
Oh no, it's different.
There's a video I saw on Instagram the other day. There's a dude, he just talked to the camera. He's like, fuck that. I'm gonna play the game when I want to play the game. I'm gonna smoke squares. I'm gonna eat what I want to eat. I ain't clean up this house. Then his wife come in and said, baby, where's the garbage day? Where you ain't cook? Hell, baby, hold on, I'm gonna get to it right now.
And why it smell like cigarette smoke in here?
I love it.
That's real. That's real. Be talking cash money shit.
Man, that's so funny.
I don't know, man. And going back to your point about the how in tune women are with like their spirituality, and like y'all can like say shit and like do shit to men that be like, yo, like why would you say that to me? Like that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like mother, sister, spouse.
Yeah, it's different.
Like women just have a way of like, ooh, like why you
can crush you.
Yeah, like a dude.
We gotta watch that.
A dude could say the same thing to you. You be like, nigga,
whatever. Go on, man.
You know what I'm saying? It
don't mean nothing.
It don't mean nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
But the way y'all do it, and y'all know it, and y'all be like, watch this dagger. You be like, oh.
But they know it if they're conscious. I think there's a whole quadrant of women out here who don't know it because they're just not conscious of it, and they're destroying that self-esteem in that boy, i.e. maybe even that mother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's not a matter of them. I don't know that it's a matter of them being conscious or not. I think it's a matter of pain because I think the intent is there. Like when I said that like that, I meant to hurt you. Like that's what was in that space.
Mm-hmm.
But why was it okay for me to do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why am I intentionally trying to hurt you? You know what I'm saying? Like that's.
Yeah, I don't think that's accidental at all.
Mm-hmm. And I think it shows up in reverse for fathers and daughters. That whole energy, the whole conversation shows up in reverse for fathers and daughters.
Agreed.
When me and Jules talked a couple weeks ago, she's like, you said this about Bella, and I think that's great. And I was like, just breaking it down, that I'm fully aware that her self-esteem is going to be a direct reflection of her relationship with me.
Right.
I'm fully aware of it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My son's self-esteem is a direct reflection of his relationship with his mom. I think that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting how that plays. I can say all kind of shit to him, and he'd be like, hey, what up, man? Goof ass out of it. Yeah. I know he's saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that matters. But just like the example I gave about the parents in the hallway with the son, you flip it in reverse if it's a girl. You know what I mean? If a father's got his daughter out in the hallway and he going off you, I'm like, yo, fam, like you wilding on shorty right now. But if the mother's like, don't you be like, you be like, yeah, get her in order because shorty been in here wilding.
But back to the socialization, right? My daughter's 12. And in them 12 years, now my daughter, she's different too. In regards to like being bad, she's probably worse than my son. You know what I mean?
That's that slyness that comes with that feminine energy.
She's probably, in regards to like being bad, she's worse than my son. And she gets away with it. Because I just be like, what am I do?
Daddy, you would have.
What you want to do? What you want to do? And she know it.
She's loving it too.
That's funny, but it's real though.
It is.
Yeah.
It is real.
Yeah.
You know, and she thinks it's hilarious.
Plus, she hella smart.
Right. That's why she gets away with shit. She does it on purpose.
But that goes back to the necessity of balance, you know, because I'm sure that don't ride with mom quite the same way.
It don't. It don't. But it's interesting to see. You know what I mean?
I'll bet.
It's definitely interesting to see. And then vice versa with my son. When he gets to acting crazy, I'm going to put hands on him. And his mom be like, well, I'm leaving because I don't want to be in the house when that happens.
Right.
I don't give a shit.
Stay, go, whatever.
Whatever you got to do because this is going to go down.
And I think that's a better response than intervening. Like on break, Herb and I were talking about like the way men deal with men, like whether it's friends or whatever, the way you all go in on each other, that's a different space. And sometimes we don't need to block that. And I know sometimes as moms, we do show up, even with our sons and the uncles. I'm like, oh no, I got it. I'll deal with it. Nope. You should let uncle deal with that when he was 10 and he was doing that. Cause
Yeah, it changes. It creates a different perspective for sure.
It's definitely a difference. But I think that if you're aware of it, then it's easier to kind of, overcome it or compensate or supplement those types of things. When you talk about a single mother, like when I was coaching football, I had several like single mothers like, yo, you need to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? About some shit. This ain't got nothing to do with football. This ain't got nothing to do with high school. Okay? Like, you need to talk to him because I don't know what to fucking tell his ass. I'm gonna kill him. Right? But you find those types of relationships, those types of dynamics, and hopefully they show up naturally. You don't just go seek it out like, hey, sir, come talk to my kid. But you tend to find it in coaches or in mentors or, sometimes like counselors at school or whatever. If it's a genuine kind of relationship like that, you can find those types of things to be able to supplement that for boys. For girls, I don't know where you find that space because, again, that's not my experience.
It's a village, period. Yeah. It's the village concept. Again, my aunts was very involved in my sister's life. Because of the relationship with my mama, my aunts was very involved in my life. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's that village creation. You got to have that village concept. Yeah. And even to the football context, I coach football too. Mm-hmm. And they all, and even just youth sports, I guess it's just a reflection of our community. Just a reflection of our community in general, maybe, right? You do get a lot of single mothers showing up with these boys and saying, hey, want to dump the boy on you and say, hey, do something with this.
Deal with this.
Yeah. But that's also falsehood too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Right. You got to be conscious of whatever behaviors that you're, exhibiting in your house as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They, I'm going to treat you this way and then, hey, go to some man and fix the shit I'm doing over here. That don't work because they coming to me with this emotional shit. And as a man, after a while, your tolerance gets to be like, because he's a boy, you seeing another boy or another man child, but with a very feminine reaction, it's like, well, what the fuck I do with this? Even if it's showing up as aggression, it's still like, I want to be, if you that tough, then let's just go and figure this out then. I'm going to really fuck you up. Right? But that's really not the answer.
That's when mom would jump in. Like, no, don't hurt.
And that's not the answer.
But
you know what I mean?
Do you want this fixed or not?
And even to the context of my wife and my son and me, the stuff that she be wanting me to get on him about, man, I don't give a shit about that. Like, we'll talk about that one.
Right.
But the stuff that she be like, this one is different.
This is the one, actually.
This is the one. So just, again, we see the world from different perspectives. But just to the sister in the video, though, and to, Maze and them this morning, what you give from your mom, when I thought about that, my violent tendencies or the aggression in me and audacity in me, that's all Andrew Werner. My daddy ain't move like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had
very calm, reserved cat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seemed like it. It's funny. It's funny. Like in my head, I feel like I know your father. But yeah, no, I think that my aggressive nature that certainly came from my mother. Like I mean, how the hell where else it gonna come from? but it came from my mother. I've told stories about my mom watching my mama fight grown men over guns and shit like that, and like I've you know what I'm saying? Like it came from her for sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm much more, as an adult though, it's crazy. Because as an adult, I'm like, yeah, okay, fam. Go on about your business. Like, I don't really, you know what I'm saying? Either it's that serious or it ain't. You know what I'm saying? If it's that serious, then we'll deal with it.
That's just maturity though.
But 9 times out of 10, it ain't that serious, fam. So I was like,
But
whatever.
even in getting to that serious point, like, I know I scared my family one day. Mm-hmm. We was at the beach and some shit went down the way I didn't like it going down. And it was just for some other people there.
Right.
And I lost my fucking mind. Like, I was ready to shoot everybody in there, motherfucker. And everybody, my family's like, who is this nigga? They just hadn't, I'm mature now. But By younger ages, a lot of people though. That's just
Lost
too.
Lost, yeah.
You know, it's funny because as I hear you all talk, I'm thinking about it. Like my dad was a mild-mannered man. My mom is not a loud woman, but she's definitely like
pistol
that's
star,
where
huh?
I saw that fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, but going back to the earlier comment, Herb, you made about being aware, I think the awareness is just rule. Don't wait till it's 10, your son is 10 or whatever, and then you want to deal with it. Oh, now I have to find a man. Just know off top, if you have a child, boy, girl, whatever, if there's not a man in the household, you need to balance that out. Don't wait till the issues show up because it's a lot harder. And just because our sons have coaches doesn't mean the coach is going to be able to fix it. Single family household, my son had a wrestling coach, and I would, hey, can you help the kid out? Now, also a single family household, you know, I've come across some possible potential mentors. Yeah, I'm gonna help him out and I'm gonna help you, wink, wink, mama.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you gotta make sure that you're connecting with someone that's healthy and could.
I'll talk to the little nigga. How about some dick?
And you know what else is crazy about this too? And one of my partners came to me and he brought this conversation to me. He said he was in a conversation with a group of men.
Mm-hmm.
And some woman asked the guys in the conversation, they said, man, when you date a woman with a child, do you engage them? And he said he was thoroughly pissed off because he said maybe it was 20 dudes. And all of them was like, nah, I ain't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what you mean engage him? And I'm not in the conversation, I'm just hearing it secondhand. He was like, man, all she asked was engage him. So I'm assuming, you know, you're around him. Hey, little man, how you doing? Just simple shit. And that's like, nah, man, I ain't doing that because I don't want to create no expectations for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that, and I was like, damn, that's what it's come to? Like, long time before I got married, man, I was dealing with this chick who had a son. He might be in his 20s now. He still reached out to me.
Right.
And I wasn't even fully engaged with his mom. I wasn't dealing with her like that. He was just around when I was around.
Right.
I just think that shit is telling, man, of where we are as a society.
Yeah.
And so, go ahead.
Oh, you got it.
Well, one of the things that we're not very good at, and I think that we need to be better at, is learning how to be in community with one another. So it can't always be about the dating and the intimacy thing. We have to learn how to be in community with one another so we can address these issues as community, so it doesn't matter whether or not our date life is working out or whatever else. Young men still need other men around. And it's probably better if it's not necessarily a dating situation that, okay, now I'm pushing this pseudo dad on you. Because then that's another reason that the kid will get pissed off, rebel, and see mom a certain way.
Yeah. That was telling though. I thought that was really interesting.
That's true. You also you go to like a youth football game anywhere in America. You'll see. How do I want to word this?
Carefully, and not so
Did
carefully.
you see what you see in the barbershop?
Yes. What you see in the barbershop. That is exactly
What is it that you see? Break it
You
down.
see-
For people who don't be at the barbershop or youth football game.
You
Yeah, 'cause I don't.
see women promoting themselves, advertising themselves, right? In certain ways, like this is it's a football game. Why you got on heels and low cut this and raised up that, and it's like, what we doing here?
They shopping.
Yes, right. And they there every week, and they want you. That's my baby, and I'm single mama, and who want to help? You know what I'm saying? Like it is like, yo, why you at the football game like that? Why you at the barbershop like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? I gotta take the boys to get their haircut. Okay, that's cool. Why your titties out? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know we know who at the barbershop. What we doing?
Trying to find a daddy for the kids out, out shopping.
Yeah.
So, as a single mom, I'm gonna say when I was with my kids, I only dressed a certain way. Like I dressed like a school marm. Outside of that, I don't dress like a school marm. Like they're in their 20s now. But I think one piece of that is being a woman, being in touch with your femininity, but you got to keep that in check when you're around your kids. Like you don't put your sexual energy out when you're trying to be a parent and nurturing. I mean, you got to check why am I really here, and be honest with yourself and own your stuff. If that's why you go into the game, don't go to the game. Go to the parking lot afterwards and don't even let your kid know that they're there or whatever.
But what do you see at those spaces, though, right? There is a reason that happens at those spaces specifically, right? You have an abundance of men there, right? Not just men, but like
men that's committed to the child.
Exactly.
It's a different kind of man.
It's a different kind of man that you're gonna find.
Different kind of advertising too.
At the barbershop or at the youth football game.
It's more advertising at the youth games than it is at the club.
This is a fact.
So that's why we have to learn how to be in community with one another, so we don't act out of pocket at every opportunity to be around one another.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, you go to the club, 80% of these niggas ain't shit, right? In terms of a long-term mate. You go to the youth football game, 80% of these niggas are shit. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just if I can get one of them, I'm probably on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about like money, I'm talking about the type of person that he is, right? Versus the type of person that's at the club all the time. It's a different caliber of man that you're dealing with at the youth football game.
But it still goes to Drew's point, though. It's still about building community. So this gets into Kevin Samuels in my mind, right? At first, I was like, Kevin Samuels is an asshole. That was my first thought. Now I got a different appreciation for Kevin Samuels.
I never thought he was an asshole.
Right? Kevin Samuels is right for the times.
Yes.
He's absolutely right.
He's talking to his people.
Times we're in. Right? We all are operating in this transactional space. That's the very nature of the socialization of America. It's all transaction. So yeah, the woman gets caught up with the child, has whatever relationship she has with the child's father, realizes, hey, this shit ain't really as easy as I thought it was gonna be. All that independent woman bullshit comes out the door. Where can I find a replacement daddy to this dude? I.e. the games, right? So they shopping at the games in a different kind of capacity than they would even shop at the nightclub, or you think that was the purpose of being there. You know what I mean? But it's still a negotiation. It's a transactional thing. But to Jules' point is like we need to learn how to commune in general without those expectations, right? How do I just come to the game and appreciate these men for just being men? How do I come to this game and appreciate my child for just being a child?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what we are missing, right? There is very little appreciation from men for women beyond some pussy.
Right.
And from women for men beyond what can you do for me? Right? I think it was this morning on May's show. They was talking about Mother's Day again, what gifts you gonna get. And Ruthie was like, man, you got some womb. Daddies don't need no other gifts beyond that. Y'all got some womb. The fuck? And what, you know what I mean? Like, if you've been a man all your life, you know how unvaluable that really is, how abundant that really is.
Okay.
Right? But it's the mindset that we have. You know what I mean? That these are the only values that we have with one another in the context of how we engage.
You know, it's always so interesting because I find myself wondering what mom would be a mom without dad. So, like, why?
True. But do we value it in the same light? Right, and I think that's what's so telling. Even in even how we use like colloquialisms, even around marriage and shit. Happy wife, happy life. The man in that conversation don't mean shit.
Yeah, you ain't gotta be happy, fam.
Yeah, fuck you. Look in the mirror every day and say, "Fuck you, self."
That's horrible.
Now let's go ahead and make this bitch happy.
The big piece of chicken.
The big piece of chicken.
That's all you get.
Chris Rock needs to be on our show, chick.
He does. Like he gets referenced more than anybody.
Anybody.
So I'm wondering. So for me, I hear a lot of. Well, it's possible that there's a lot of hurt that's present in women that shows up in interesting ways, because the woman in today's video, to me, sounds a little bit like the woman from last week's video, in that I had this list and they didn't meet this list. In this week's video, the list looked like dad. Whatever the list of what dad was, that's what he needs to be. Instead of negotiating out or exploring a real relationship, what are you coming with? What am I coming with? What can we build? Can we build something that's going to be a lifetime as it relates to an intimate relationship, or can we build something as it relates to a lifetime and us being friends and in community, and you help me with life? Both ways, because women have some stuff to bring to the table, men have stuff to bring to the table that makes it better for everybody if we can learn how to make that work.
Yeah, you definitely got to find that balance. I mean, that's
shout out to She Raw on YouTube. She says, "When's the next youth football game and where?"
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much. That's great comedy.
But you know what's interesting?
I love that.
The dads at this football game or that barbershop typically is attached to some mom somewhere. So
yeah, typically
probably
sometimes
attached to several moms.
Yeah,
somewhere.
like listen.
Hey, they still big.
Okay, hey.
Quinn, what is the break?
Be clear. Like if you are that kind of
word, that's what this is.
Yeah, you that kind of dude. Like they come, I heard it's good dudes over there. Cars start crashing and shit. Like boom.
Hey, I want to go.
They start grabbing straight off the street. Come here, you my son. You play football here. Let's go.
I got my own team.
Right, all these are my kids.
I'll live.
She said, "So when is the next youth football game and where is it?" I love that. That is hilarious. Ron, we do need to take a break, man. Let's take a break, but let's test and work on this break because when we come back from break,
I know we're going straight to the ratchet.
We are going to complete debauchery. Okay, feel free to leave if you want because I have some absolute foolishness to show y'all. Two probably ain't gonna even let me finish the whole video. It's that ridiculous. But we're gonna get into that on the other side of the break. This is I Said What I Said. Herb too. Jules is here on a Friday. We'll be back.
WIIFTBP. You got to Kennedy King, so you remember Corey Brown?
I definitely remember Corey Brown from Morgan Park.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Murder, man. So I got it in with y'all one day before a game. And then y'all literally went out and destroyed some people by about 50 at Kennedy King. And I'll never forget, somebody shot a jumper. It came off long. And Corey will tell this story to this day. He says he went up, and I was in the stands. He went up for the rebound. And before he could jump, he said he felt a foot on his head. And it was you. And you caught it, classic P-Mac, catching it over everybody, putting it back in. He says before he jumped, he felt a foot on his head. And Corey was 6'4", easy.
On his head.
On his head.
Yeah, Corey was 6'4", man. I used to I don't know, I had a knack, man. I was always uber athletic. Like I was taught early, if somebody shoot, you got to come from the opposite side. I had a guy in my neighborhood named Wayne Irvin, legendary dude to us in our neighborhood. Played at Chicago State, played at Wyoming.
Okay.
Played against Patrick Ewing. He passed away a couple years ago, but went to CVS. He was a decorated player. A lot of people knew him. And he taught me early, like, you attack offensive rebounds from the opposite side. So if somebody shoot from the left wing, you crash from the right. If somebody shoot from the top of the key, you can crash because it can go either way and you can get it. I was so big and athletic. I used to get a lot of tip dunks. Like, for some reason, people never boxed me out. And once I got a running start, if it came off anywhere over the rim and bounced up, you was dead.
This is Eugene McIntosh, one half of the illest independent sports media outlet in the whole entire land, the Bigs. Check me and my player partner Terrence Tomlin, a.k.a. T-Tom the Great, on What's in It for the Black People Media Network.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday.
You about that life? I'm about that life. You ain't really about that life. If you really about that life, JC, spit a key. Let me test your work. Boss, you the boss? Let me test your work. Jesus, you talking breezy? Let me test your work. Cam, you the man? Let me test your work. Dre and Snoop, like that chronic, I need something stronger. Molly cute, that's like an aspirin. For my daughter, big time, in the club, with a case of Ace. And I sniff that whole table. Scarface, another court case. I'm a frequent offender. When Wyclef was hot, I was gone to November. 6 years, hard time. Bobby was fucking up, Whitney could have been mine. We would have been so high and so in love. When Amy Winehouse died, I could have saved her. I could have smoked like half of that. She wouldn't have had to go in cardiac.
nice up under her dress. Lindsay Lohan her neck, but I still go above her breast. I must confess, I heard from a little birdie. Bring some crystal meth, you can get that from Fergie. Had a real nice dream, me and Charlie Sheen. Few Playboy bras, I was high in Rock Ford. Brick after brick, like Shaq at the free throw. I stay hard, I put coke in my pee hole. You bout that life? I'm bout that life. You ain't really bout that life. If you really bout that life, 50, get with me. Let me test your word. T.I., I'm trying to get high. Let me test your word. Birdman, I hear you, man. Let me test your word. Brick Squad, I like it hard. Let me test your word. I want that shit that made Britney shave her head. I want that shit made DMX say he a fed. I want that shit that had Amanda Bonds tweaking. I want that shit Lance Armstrong compete with. I'm a winner by any means. You dig me? Praise Angelina Jolie, but when it condemn me, keep trying to play me like I'm a loser. Biggest sales first week, Robert Downey Jr. I remember even Oprah got high. You thought I forgot? I remember D'Angelo was Diesel. Lamar Odom, that's my people. Drew Barrymore, she liked it raw. Me, I liked it cooked with Armor Hammer on it. One time, can't lie, was Keith Ledger high. But on that Samuel L. Jackson, that crack high. You bout that life? I'm bout that life. You ain't really bout that life. If you really bout that life.
Welcome back, family. Welcome back. We are live from inside the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Werner and Juliet Scott. My name is Herb Howard. Ron Rilla is in the production studio, and he is testing work. We ain't heard that in a minute, my brother. We gotta keep that.
You about that life.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey.
I'm about that life.
Hey, we saw the perfect meme on a Relationship Friday over break. It said, what did it say too? What did the meme say? It
says, he didn't send 15 more since then. It says, being in a relationship and single at the same time is stressing me the fuck out.
I still say that's horrible.
Being in a relationship and single at the same time is stressing me the fuck out. You say that's terrible?
I still say that's terrible.
What's the problem?
Be whatever it is. Like, if it's both at the same time, and then let the cards fall where they may. You might find somebody that'll align with that. Might not, but it might take a little bit longer to find somebody that might ride with it. But
just be honest and keep it a buck, right?
I think that's better. I think it builds for quality relationships.
I agree with you wholeheartely, Jules. I try to educate the people on that quite frequently. They're not here for it. You know,
it's not that let me say this.
Not you. No, you've gone on record about it.
Yeah, but I think this is a different conversation though. It's not that I'm not, or I don't understand like the construct of polygamy. I don't think nobody's naturally monogamous personally, right? We mate with all kind of people until we decide to settle down. By definition, it's not monogamy.
Right.
But again, the social construct, and that's kind of the conversations I've had on here a lot too, it shapes our relationship beliefs anyway. It really, even when I talk about being transactional, that's a reflection of us living in a capitalist society. Everything's a negotiation. Everything. When you go to the store, when you walk out your door, you start bargaining. Period. I can't leave my house as a parent of two children. I don't think I've left my house in the last, my son 15? In the last 15 years where I ain't spent $100. So I'm negotiating how to get back into the house with under 100 every day, no matter what. Just the behavior, just the very natural thing. We don't look at that as part of our intimate behaviors, but it's the exact same shit. We're negotiating. What can I get out the deal? Very little of it is about spirituality. Very little of it is about growth. What you just said, we need to get back to community. Very little of it is about communing. It's about what can I get out the deal, right? So that woman becomes, how big is her ass? How big is her titties? How much can I get away with? You know what I mean? And that man's becomes about how can he stabilize my life in most instances? You know what I mean? Or what can I get away with? You know what I mean? It's not what can I learn from you? How can we grow together? What can you teach me? If it was, when you stop dealing with them people in most instances, you would still be friends with them because you would value them differently.
I'm friends with everybody.
Me
I've
too,
ever
but
dated.
but what I'm saying is that this isn't a normal kind of thing. You know what I mean? I've had women in my life say because I was friends with the women from the past, she wouldn't deal with me. Because it ain't about being in a relationship; it's about ownership.
And so that's that piece that shows up, and I think a lot of what you said comes from a hurt space, like, and not even necessarily loving yourself or even knowing how to do that. When we're in community, and that's why I say that that's something that we really need to learn, that's vitally important, it's not going to matter. You want everybody in your community to be okay. It doesn't make a difference if the guy you're with used to be friends with her or not. We want the community to be okay so our kids could be okay. And we could stop having the violence and everything else and the neighborhood looking like trash. We're going to work together to make it right.
Heard you.
I just don't think it's happening. I'm not saying I don't agree. I agree.
Yeah.
You
But
know
going
what I
back to that unhealthy space, like you said, is her ass big enough? It just, like, so all that's there. Like, there was a show where you all were talking about people spending the type of money that they spend, women, for ass and bust and all that. But that comes from a hurt space. Like, why can't I don't care what's in the media. I'm not going to go buy any. If a mouthful can't help you, then, look another way. So.
If a mouthful can't help you,
I'm sorry.
look another way.
But to that point, look how that's being
Is that like a
standardized.
cup size or something? Like mouthful B?
Mouthful of this, mouthful of that. But look how that's being standardized, right? That if I'm rocking with your theory and you say it comes from a place of hurt or pain or trauma or whatever, look how trauma's being marketed and standardized. It's becoming the normal thing. It's the standard now. It's the aspiration.
But here's where men could help out as it relates to women. If men are more, I guess, vocal about promoting natural, like not necessarily going off the deep when, I know some of the bigger stars, Megan Thee Stallion or whoever else, like whoever's plugged with that.
I stumbled across one of her videos. It's called Captain Hook. That's all. Watch the video. Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
But see, I think that's a falsehood though, Jules.
No, but I'm just going back to that conversation about affirming. So our parents tell us we're great, we're wonderful, we're beautiful coming up. And as it relates to women, it's up to you guys later to affirm that for us to be able to really rest in that.
Outright. Every man in my circle will tell you, sweatpants, head tied, chilling with no makeup on.
That's when you're the prettiest. I hope that you don't take it wrong.
I don't know a man that feels differently.
But that's not what we hear more
That's
often
not what you can interpret.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying.
That's not the message you're tuned into. Because there
That's
are
not the message
motherfuckers
you're
out here
tuned
like,
into.
I want the makeup and I want the hair down to yonder and all this extra and I want the eyelashes out there. Somebody's clearly into that, okay? Every woman in this world ain't walking around doing that because nobody's into it. Somebody's clearly into it.
Exactly.
You're just not listening to them dudes. It's like, yo, I like the way you look. Like you. I like to see your face. I like to see your hair. I like that.
But as it relates to media, what ends up out there more often, so it's kind of hard to find that voice. And like if you look at the artists that we're celebrating, they all kind of look the same, their body the same.
I mean, the rapper artists, they don't even promote makeup. They might promote fake butts and fake breasts, but they not even saying like we want lashes and nails and makeup. Rapper dudes ain't even saying that.
What you laughing at? What do you like? Is it Cherie? Parents, you are beautiful. So Kevin Samuels, you look like Shrek.
Oh, Cherie is hilarious.
I love Cherie, man. Hey, Cherie.
Oh, shit.
I love you dearly. Please don't ever change. I thank God that you're alive.
Yeah, I mean, we like it both ways. Don't get it twisted.
What's in the video? What's the propaganda? Like you have to.
But again, like it's the same lie that I tell the shorties though with the boys, right? He 50 Cent. Like after NWA and that like cycle of things, that genre kind of went away a little bit. And 50 Cent came back like as the next wave of gangster rap, right? And they was promoting him as a gangster rapper. Here's his story. He was shot. He wasn't a shooter. He was shot, right? Every time you see that man, he's smiling and wearing a suit. He's rapping some whole other shit, but his visual image is smiling and wearing a suit. The man got a mouth full of teeth. The man was living good. He was comical, and he got shot. This ain't really the behaviors of the gangsters in your community that you really know, right? But you're fixated on the idea that ain't even real for this guy, right? But you bought into this kind of theory, i.e. going back to the shit we see today. The young gangster rappers is wearing pants where they can't even fucking move. You look like a homosexual, not a gangster. Like when Ron sent me some shit the other day. Ron sent me a text. He was like, I be wanting to say you wrong so bad, but look at this shit. That's for real. The boy looked like a flaming homosexual, but everybody comes out his mouth is like, yeah, I'll shoot the shit out you.
Right.
And I'm seeing me communicating with my son like,
the stats
you
said,
believe this shit?
The stats said, you know you got money when you pop out in short shorts.
The man's shorts are this big, bro. I mean, it's either way.
Little baby.
Nah.
But either way, my point is,
you know you getting money when you pop out in short shorts.
Nah.
But again, it's
a
what
no,
you're in tune with. This is my son, right? I know how I live. I know who my friends are. He knows who it's real gangsters that be in our house often.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? You know they real stories. You think they would pop out of that, fam?
Right. No, man, that's not what's going down.
Come on, man.
That's not what's going down.
This is real. This is entertainment, but he's tuned into that.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the propaganda. That's what gets broadcast, not what you were saying. Not
Right.
the scarf.
I'm not disagreeing with you. But there's 10 little babies that he can't touch them. Mm-hmm. These people in your living room. These people put money in your pocket. These people act as if, a surrogate uncle. Or real uncles in some instances.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're tangible. But he's tuned into this image. Back to the women. The tangible conversation is sweatpants, head tied, chilling with no makeup on. But you're tuned into a different frequency. Because you value something different. You don't value my perspective.
You don't value my perspective. You're not even hearing what I'm telling you.
I.e. transactional. You value the lights, cameras, action, glamour, glitter, and gold. But what's real and tangible, that ain't what we valuing.
That's real.
I don't know, but so I think the value in that comes from what you see in that, which is all the men in that same image being attentive to that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely see a lot of people paying attention to that. But I'm saying if you are like, nah, I'm about this relationship or this dude is telling you something, and you are like, yeah, still though, right?
Wait. That's when you get to that dude. A lot of us women are single. There are a lot of single women.
Mm-hmm.
The dude is not even there.
Yeah, but I'm saying, okay, cool.
Okay.
But the valuable dude's not gonna show up for that kind of a woman. I'm not walking around nowhere with no circus clown.
Right.
Now, when the lights is all the way down low, who knows what I'm doing? But being publicly seen with a circus clown, no. But
everybody look good in the dark. That's funny.
But you will holler at the circus. I'm not you.
I know dudes who got midgets on their list. That's not saying what they want. They just want to see what this is about.
Don't be telling my business. Let me tell my business. Bucket list.
Yeah, bucket list. It happens.
And the accepted vernacular is little people. Listen. Speaking of alternative relationships, I'm gonna show y'all a video. I bet y'all two don't let me get through the whole video.
The young guy with the tight shirt will let that thing go. I don't disagree, but that goes back to what I said. That's not aggression. That's emotional.
Yeah.
That's still a feminine.
We just lost. Oh, you pulled it out.
I cut my mic. My bad.
Did yourself in. Suicide.
I'd rather blame Ron. It's definitely Ron.
Oh, he did it. For sure he did.
When all else fails, blame Ron.
For sure. When anything fails, blame Ron.
Yeah, but he will let that hammer go. But that's part of what I'm saying though. He will, but he's still effeminate. That's not stand up behavior.
Yeah,
feminine.
There's a video I want to show y'all, man. Okay, I want to show y'all this video, and then later before we get out of what I die angry as fuck getting angry as fuck getting clapped by a nigga wearing his sister's jeans. Hey, I can't stand y'all right now. That's hilarious though, BT, for real. After we dig down this video, before we get out of here, I want to play a quick round of Smash or Pass. Okay, no, I'm
not playing.
You don't have to play. Okay. Me and Jules will play, and everybody else will play.
All right.
Okay. There's another video I'm gonna show y'all.
Where's the paper? I'll signal.
Yeah. Yes for this, no for that. Yes, no. Be out there like a baseball coach. Anyway, listen, man. Can you pull up the first video, the one with the red background? Okay. Speaking of alternative relationships, I'm always promoting the alternative relationships. Everybody should find their relationship, however it makes them happy. Do your thing. There is a line that even I have drawn. Okay, these people These people.
I don't want to play this.
Yes.
I should have gave you the computer. The fact that this is going to run on my goddamn
Yes.
IP address bothers me.
Yes. Come on. Pull it up. These people have found the most alternative relationship that I've ever heard of in my entire life. To be quite frank and honest with y'all, it's pretty sick. But it's Friday.
Is it just conversation or are they going to show some of this
There's
shit?
there's not going to show anything.
Okay.
There's not going to show anything.
Still gonna get all types of videos and advertisements.
It's just a conversation. We'll go ahead and play it. Ron, you ready for it back there? You good too?
Yeah, man.
Say you ready as you gonna get her. Go ahead and play it.
Oh, we need to grab a couple handfuls of that smaller stuff. Okay. There. I'll get some of this.
Yeah, y'all reading it right.
I was technically a virgin until I was 29 years old. I was a zoophile up until then, and I just basically didn't have much interest in other members of my own species as far as a life bond or anything. But when I met Ellie here, we clicked. It was the one person that I felt within a week probably after I met her. We were meant to be together.
There you go. Come sit over here.
Ken and Ellie met through a zoo friend on the internet. After a few weeks, they arranged their first date.
Well, the first night that he came up to visit me, I took him down to the barn to introduce him to some of my horses and some of the other horses that I enjoyed at the barn. And I took him in and introduced him to my miniature stallion. And kind of, I don't know if it was subconscious, I was very nervous and kind of wanted to do the shock factor, as it were. My miniature stallion was dropped and masturbating. When his penis is dropped and he slaps it on his belly, they call that masturbation for stallions. And so one thing led to another and I couldn't resist, so I bent down and started sucking on him. And then he tried climbing on top of me, so the next thing I know, my pants are down and I'm bending over for him and I'm like, excuse me, I can't resist. And I guess part of me said, okay, either he's for real and he won't mind this, or he's not for real and he's going to be totally freaked out by it and run. Obviously he didn't run.
No, actually, I was very tempted at the point to have sloppy seconds. It turned me on. It was so erotic to watch this.
It gets gooder.
And just the whole thing. And it didn't shock me at all. In fact, I was like, this is pretty cool. I think I found somebody here that might be on my plane here. And it went from there. And we
all right.
Here we
no,
are.
No, it gets gooder. No.
Well, I have vaginal sex with my miniature stallion. He's not a whole lot larger than most humans. He is a bit bigger, but not uncomfortably so. I like to suck on him orally, and he especially enjoys that.
I have anal sex with the miniature stallion. He penetrates me, and it's pleasurable, but it's not real intense. It's like I said, the pleasure that I get from it is more knowing how much he enjoys having sex with me. He tends to tell me about it. He talks a lot. He grunts and wickers and blows in my ear, etc. And that is very erotic to me, more so than the physical sex.
When he's courting me, as it were, trying to entice me to bend down or kneel down.
Wait, let's do it.
He does a lot of.
I'm fucking doing.
I call it a hubba hubba. He just kind of goes and makes this little hubba hubba noise to me, and then once he's in, I mean, for every stroke that he does, he makes this big grunting noise. And then when he orgasms, he makes an even bigger grunting noise.
And he tends to like to hold on with his teeth, and I actually have some scars on my back from where he's bitten onto me, just hanging on. They do the same thing with mares when they have sex, and only mares have fur to hang on to. He tends to get a big chunk of skin with me, and that can be quite painful, but usually I don't even notice until after the fact because I'm so caught up in the moment. And then I get up to the house, and Ellie says, "Oh, I see you've been down fooling around. You've got a big bite mark on your back again."
That's it, bro.
Oh, we need to grab a couple handfuls of that smaller stuff.
Okay.
Huh?
Well, I'm stumped.
How y'all feel? Huh?
I'll acknowledge that these people are happy and they found their people.
Let's pause right there. Hold on. The fact that these two people found each other, don't tell me you can't find your mate. They out there. You just got to be your authentic self and you will find them.
And to that point,
these two people found each other.
And I think that's fair. And that's why I said it might take a little bit longer to find your person. But
a horse noise you just made?
You know what? Please don't get hurt. Not while I'm standing here. No, sit here. Don't get in no trouble. Please don't get in no trouble. But it might take a little bit longer. But when you show up as your authentic self, you get a more quality relationship. Scary as it may be to other people, but you just have to show up.
How is it? I feel sick as fuck. Adrian
Jews
said I
is
bet
so
their
politically
cousins
correct.
too.
That's just white people whiting. I mean, get the fuck out of here. That's white people whiting. I'm not giving that no value.
How do you feel about the bite marks on my man's back?
I don't feel no way about none of that shit.
That's why I'm like, no, do not stop it, because it's the dude, G. Like, it's.
Oh, I see you
So
been down
without
there fooling out of the bar.
See you down there fooling around again. You got bite marks on your back.
White people are not of the human kind.
The
That's
horse
something
is
different.
biting him on his back while he's ramming him in his back.
And it's the bite that hurt.
And it's the She said, first date, I took him down to the barn so he can meet my horses and my miniature stallion, and my stallion was masturbating, and I could not resist. Next thing I know, he was in my mouth. Then I couldn't resist, and I bent over for him. And this dude who just met her, first date, is like, yo, this is the shit right here.
Yo, this
Sam,
shit
what would you do?
fire.
What would you do? What would you do? This is your first moment with a chick. This happens. What do you do?
I'll tip out. You know that.
I gotta record it first.
You're gonna record.
I have to make sure I have proof
that this happened
before I dip. I gotta.
Gee,
yo,
I
she
think I
can't
was in
lie.
a goddamn.
She cannot lie.
I wouldn't be worried about her lying. I'd be
Clearly
worried about
she
my
ain't worried about
safety.
that.
I think it was like what's that, Leatherface? I think it was one of them kind of movies. Like they're gonna abduct me and murder me at this point.
Ron, you know that meme? You know that meme of Homer Simpson where he be somewhere and then he just kind of fade off into the bushes one picture at a time? That would have been me. I'd just been like, yeah, fam, this is different.
Like, no, they not finna believe this. I need footage.
She didn't got down there and started topping off the horse and then bent over for him? Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing?
But that goes back to, I'm thinking of last week's video. Like, there is a guy for that girl.
Which girl? Which one?
Oh,
the one we was talking about last week. Okay, yeah.
Right.
For
there's
sure.
a guy that's going to fit with that.
Water meets its level, as Tu always says, man.
What girl? What? I'm confused.
The ex-porn star looking
the
for
list.
a man now. With the list from last week.
Oh, okay.
So.
Wow.
But there's, so even excluding the video, there's value to being who you.
Look at Jules. Jules gonna find the good stuff in it. BT say the horse. Take that. Diddy voice.
Hit it with the Diddy. Take that.
I don't know why y'all behave this way. Something's wrong with y'all, man? For real.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
That is different. Ron said he pulling out the phone. He's getting video proof of this.
You're not finna say I lied. I saw you.
But the value, okay, this is a relationship Friday, so let's find the what is it called?
No, sometimes it's just fuckery.
She want to make it right, don't she?
Sometimes
want to make it right so bad.
I quit.
But it's not all that bad. I mean, look, they're happy.
Take the horses out.
I mean, they're happy though. Get the fuck out of here, man. People crazy.
Whatever just happened to crazy.
There's crazy and then there's crazy. You know?
That is next level crazy.
Oh man.
So it's another video I want you to play, man.
It's hopefully nothing like that.
It's nothing like that. This is actually, it's entertaining, but it's nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy. I want to play a game of that one. Go back down. Down. That one. I want to play a game of Smash or Pass.
What is?
This edition is I don't know. This is a 70-year-old edition of Smash or Pass. Let's pull up the video, man. See if we could start it from the beginning, and then I'll switch right over.
It don't open up like the next. So as soon as I click it,
I got you.
Do it.
I got you. I just want to know if y'all. I just want to know if y'all going or not. I just want to know.
this love. Did you hear what I said? Woman, come and get all this love.
I just want to know.
All this love. All this love. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking that 101. I'm talking that all you need. I'm talking that all you want. I'm talking that you need. So come and get all this love. 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 I'm talking that green tongue. I'm talking about save that day. Coming home you.
I just want to know. I just want to know if we going for Granny. Garter say that's a pass. Howard say nope. Anybody? Any takers? Anyone?
I wasn't playing this game.
Anyone? Anyone? BT say might still be some tread on those tires.
Y'all are horrible.
Just want to know. Just want to know if grandma be like, hey, young man, is you going or not? Ron?
That suit holding everything in place.
Just want to know if you going.
Pass. Oh, God.
What is she?
Hey, suit or not, don't front like she ain't built better than 90% of
30-year-olds.
You know what I mean? But
65, 70 years old. Coming like that. You going, Ron?
I got to pass.
You passing?
I got to.
No, sir. She will fuck you. Auntie, why not go? BT say, why not go?
What you look at?
Huh? Was that a this or that?
Abstain. That's what it was. I abstained from this conversation.
Juice?
If it was grandpa?
Sure.
I can't see me doing grandpa.
There's a whole genre of granddaddies that's popping right now, though.
But so I have a certain regard for my, I can't. But
All honor and respect to King Slim.
You see what happened when King Slim put on his spandex
Okay.
t-shirt?
They went crazy
They go
around
crazy
these
around these joints. Yeah, so it's a whole,
You seen Ron Isley 2 weeks ago? Whole world was going crazy.
Went crazy over Ron Isley.
Indeed.
now it's not that I don't like older men.
Mhm.
So it's but it's just a certain point that, it could be grandpa.
Gino say
Grandma cooked, Joe. She cooked some good food. She ain't cooked. She cooked some food, put you to sleep. It's cracking out here.
We didn't answer the question.
No. I just want to know. It's just no. But she looks great though. Like
that you have to acknowledge.
Yeah, she looks great. You know.
But what age do you stop?
What have I been doing on that day? Like what
age do you stop what?
Like just in general, what age gap do you stop at? Like I have men friends that are my age and we'll look at a 21-year-old like that's almost your kid. Like you okay with that? Like I don't know. Like what's the stopping point either way?
Garter said if you're close to my mama age, that's a pass.
That's fair. But what about you guys? Like
That ain't my reality.
Kids, a certain woman's age. Like, are you going or does it matter?
Oh no, I'm not into younger women. Like a young woman have to be exceptional for me to be like into her like that. It's be some other shit. I'm more of an older.
But
woman.
how much older? Like what's the cap for the age?
I don't know. It depends. I don't really have an arbitrary number 10 years or 12 years.
But when we move into our parents' age or our children's age, are you going or not?
I tend to think dudes be lying.
Oh, okay.
About what?
In totality.
Okay.
You're right. Like, who was it? There's faithful as the options. I don't even mean in the context of faithful. I mean in regards to options.
Okay.
Right? Depending on the option and the opportunity, I don't put too much shit past too many dudes.
Fair enough.
To be honest with you. Because I know some dudes who publicly, their women are beautiful. You know what I mean? But I also know what they've done privately. It's like, you're different, fam.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think if we be honest, the rules change depending on the situation. You know
Sound
what I
like
mean?
my little brother.
I think it plays out like that for a lot of dudes. You know what I mean? And I think it's different too. I can't say it's different. I don't know. You know, just like we just made the joke about the little people.
Hey, Cherie, go to bed.
Some of that be about like what experience you gonna get out of that. You know what else is to this. You know what I mean? And you know,
Cherie say anybody needing incontinence products. Pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, just go to bed, Cherie. Like, it's just. Jacob say she don't look like she been buzzed down. No tattoos, no stretch marks.
Yeah, but I think it's more about access, opportunity, and who gonna find out.
Okay.
Have I been drinking?
Serious.
Like, have I been drinking, or like, am I sober?
You do it your own thing. I'm not even in the game.
If Granny catch me slipping,
fine.
But again, now I'm gonna say this too, though, right? I don't think men suffer any consequences for opting out of whatever the social standards are, right? So at least in the sexual context, men get to operate freer than women traditionally, right?
Sure.
It's shit on our jackets. We like, yeah, I did that shit, and we get explained away as what's the Dale Givens joke? But she had a big ass though,
right?
That was good enough, and the rest of the dudes will laugh at you. Then nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean?
One of my partners got a 2 out of 3 rule. He said if she got 2 out of 3, face, titties, or ass, I'm going. Any 2 out of 3, any combination.
Yeah, but I've heard more disgusting examples of what the rules or what their standard is. I ain't even gonna say it out loud,
Sure.
but my point is, like, we're not beholden to certain standards in regards to the social context of sex. We just ain't. You know
That's
what
true.
I mean? As long as it ain't a man,
right? You good?
And we'll laugh and joke at your ass.
Yeah,
and
but
it's over with.
yeah.
No one cares.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
But I think, and how it happens or why it happens, nobody gives a
Nobody
shit.
cares. She could
You
be the
know what I mean?
neighborhood booger, neighborhood
Yeah,
bust down.
it
Don't matter.
But I think there's a different social construct for women, and it's interesting to me to see like how as the world evolves and that stigma kind of is going away in some senses. Like there's almost a aspiration to hoe. You know what I mean? There's almost an aspiration to hoe.
That's real.
You know what I mean? And what does that look like going forward, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, maybe it's just because of the generation I'm of. You know what I mean? I don't know. When I see that shit and I look at that shit and I say my daughter's gonna be growing into this kind of peer group, that makes me cringe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't value that shit at all.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you know, I'm fully aware of the freedoms I've had and my peer group of men had to move through that circle in a certain kind of way. And there's no, you know, it didn't blemish our value out here in no kind of way. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying being with ugly women. I'm just saying moving however you want to move.
So I find myself wondering, is that good for community? And then where do we check that at? Because men have to check men.
I don't know if it needs to be checked by men, though. And that's kind of why I struggle too, right? I think we're just different in general, right? How we show up, why we show up, what we're supposed to do, the place we're supposed to be in. I think it's different. And we keep trying to make the shit the same. It's not the same. What you're supposed to do and what I'm supposed to do ain't the same. But when we opt in our polarities perfectly, we create balance.
Right.
But
Otherwise,
what we're supposed to do
we start to
ain't the same. I ain't supposed to mimic you and you ain't supposed to mimic me.
Listen, we got to get up out of here. Happy Mother's Day to all of y'all. I don't even think
Absolutely.
we're still on anymore. If we are, happy Mother's Day to all of y'all. Celebrate the mothers in your life. If you are a mother, certainly happy Mother's Day to you. Whether that's a natural mother, a godmother, well, it looks something different.
Before you close out this, since we're still on, I think Jules wanted to say something that I really want to hear.
No, that's great.
Okay.
Happy Mother's Day to all
You sure?
other mothers. Yes.
Yeah, well, however you show up as a mom, that you could actually be an auntie or a godmom or whatever, whomever you have been mothering on. Happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you all. We appreciate y'all. Enjoy yourselves this weekend. We'll be back here on Monday, same time, same place. For Ron Rilla, Juliet Scott, and Toussaint Werner, my name is Herb Howard. Y'all be good to each other. Peace.
Salam alaikum.
WIIFTBP.